few good reviews where I talk about the latest releases I've listened to that I just have really little to say about. It's a very slow week, this current week, so many albums have just come out where I'm just not really invested in, so I didn't really want to do full reviews on them because I didn't really want to half-ass like videos for the sake of just doing them, so I just thought, you know what, throw them in here. Why not? So I don't even like this band's most beloved work, okay? So you could imagine that when the fans don't like their work, I like this even less than that. So yeah, I hated this. Hated this. The guy's voice. The guy's voice. I hate this guy's voice. I don't know why. And the friggin' trumpets. Those trumpets, whenever they come in. This Lealani album is really interesting. I can't really say I enjoyed it. I'd maybe even go as far as saying it's quite bad, but it's different to like calling an album bad and not really caring about the artist's future work. Like, I don't know, like I guess like a Lil Xan or a Bring Me the Horizon, for me anyway. Like, those artists just put out bad albums and I don't really feel like I'm going to enjoy anything they're going to put out ever, to be honest. But this, I didn't enjoy it, but I feel as though there's something here that could be quite cool in the future. Like, a lot of the vocalizations that she does are quite odd and quirky and weird, and some of the instrumentals are quite off kilter as well. So I feel like later on she could definitely make something that's really good, but for now it just kind of sounds annoying at times, like especially her voice. There's a one track as well towards the end with this horribly shrill like a synthesizer. Yeah, really quite bad, but I appreciate what she's going for. I do think there's some really cool, unique ideas on this. Definitely worth a listen, because I feel like some people would love this. For me, I just didn't really like it, but yeah, definitely interested to see what she's going to do in the future. But for now, not really enjoying this, but I think some people will like it. Cherry Glazerr, look, this was just so average. Like, the last album was pretty bad, I thought. Was it like Apocalyptic or something like that it was called? Really quite bad. Annoyed me a little bit, but this new one is a little bit of an improvement. It's just like there, you know, it's just there. It doesn't really give me anything to chew on. I don't know. The song Daddy has some really bad lyrics as well. Like, I don't know what the singer was going for here, but that was pretty terrible. But everything else is just like this garagey, punky, energetic release. That's not necessarily bad, but the lyrics most of the time are just either weak or just whatever. So it's like I'm not really given anything new here. I'm just sort of going through the motions of listening to an album that I feel like I've heard 100 times before. But all I can really say is the singer does have a bit more character than I remember the last album having, but even still, it's kind of lame. It's kind of lame, this album. Lyrically, mostly, is pretty bad as well. British rock music right now? This electronic release from Lee Gamble is actually really quite cool. I think the sound palette across this album is really shiny and pristine. I think electronic fans could potentially like adore this to the point where they would like call it one of their favorite albums of the year, but I think it just kind of falls short, because after that second track, it just doesn't really grab me in the same way that it did on that track. That track is so good that I think it kind of peaks there. Not to say that everything else after is bad, or not to say that everything else after is not worth your time, because it's a pretty short release anyway. But I don't know, I just feel like he struck gold with that track, and then every other track either just kept doing a similar thing or it just didn't really grab me in the same way, which is a shame, but I actually think this is a pretty solid album either way, so definitely check it out. Grime in the UK right now, honestly, not having a good time. Like, it really is a poor period for grime music. There was that good, really great, in fact, Dizzy Rascal EP last year, but I can't even say I'm going to count that because it's not like it made its way into the charts or anything. But a guy like this, Fredo, is popular and one of the bigger artists around. There is just nothing on this album I would say is worth your time. Maybe that song where he writes a letter to his mum, maybe, but even still, that isn't like something I'm ever going to come back to. It's just a nice track, but everything else, there's so many fucking terrible lines. His rhyme schemes as well are atrocious, and that part where he's talking about this girl and he doesn't want to see her, like, come see him with her eyebrows done or something, like what are you on about? Like, why is that a lyric? What is this album? Who is Dave? Why is Dave called Dave? What? This? No. The Butcherettes, I didn't see this one coming. Didn't see this one coming at all, and they really got overlooked in 2011 as well with their Sin Sin album. And I've almost overlooked this album too because I would have missed it if it wasn't for checking like the new releases for this week and stuff. So yeah, it is okay though. It's not really on the level of that propulsive, high energy garage rock release that Sin 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 was. Really enjoy the album, but this is just okay. It's just not hitting that spot. Like, some of the tracks really feel a bit like sluggish at times, don't really have much of a thump to them, and what ends up coming out, you know, what the results end up being are just kind of so rock tunes, but every so often they do hit a good gem on the album, so it does end up being a decent release. And the last track too is really good, and it stops like dead stop, where the singer's like yelling like this is goodbye. I don't know if that's some kind of message to like the fans, like this is their last album, or if it's a message to, I don't know, just someone else. But it was quite an interesting end to the album, I think. But yeah, it's okay. I don't know, just kind of expected that high energy rock release again from them because they did it so well once before. So it's fine, it's whatever. So this Sunday's album is really charming, it's really sweet, but it's just very samey, too ordinary at times as well. Like, I really found it a bit too bland, just didn't have any sort of oomph to it or any unique quality about it that made it stand out, because lyrically it was just pretty so-so throughout. Just a really like simple indie folk country sort of release that I would usually like if there was some element that stood out, but this just kind of flew by, you know, just really kind of doing the same thing over and over and over. Just got a bit boring, to be honest. The guys' vocals are a bit, I don't know, they just sound very like plain. Like, there's just nothing standing out about this. It's nice on the ears at times, but overall it's just really quite average. It is essential that we get Burn It as a WWE theme song right now. That's got to be done. Someone contact Vince McMahon, get it sorted. But everything else on this album, no, this was terrible. I mean, I actually kind of liked how like race was tackled and some political issues. I wasn't expecting any of that at all, but it's so corny. Like, the guy's voice across this entire album when he's trying to like rap rock as well, it's such a bad combination that I thought died years ago. Are there still bands doing this? Because I thought this genuinely died years ago. It's amazing what can happen when you keep yourself in the dark from a certain genre, because you realise, actually, no, it hasn't gone away, it's still going. But yeah, this wasn't very good. I would recommend going back to like Let Live's previous material though. Let Live were a pretty good band actually, but this, no. And that's going to be it for this. A few good reviews. I've talked about a lot more albums than I think I usually do, but I'm quite happy with how it's turned out anyway, to, you know, discuss as many albums as I possibly can. Hope you enjoyed watching. Let me know any other albums I should be checking out. It's quiet time, it always is at the start of the year. You have a few spurts of like albums, you know, dropping all in quick succession, and then you've just got weeks where there's nothing out. So if there are any albums you do think I should be checking out, then let me know, because I'm sure I've missed some. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Goodbye.